What's up, guys? It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon, so I figured I would do a quick little video. None of my videos are quick, so I guess stick around for 20 minutes if it lasts that long. But I want to do an overview of the Sebenza 25. Had it for a little under a week now, and it is, well, I'll save that for later. The first thing I'm going to do is kind of show in comparison to 21, well-used 21, and kind of show the differences and what I feel is better, what I feel could have been done better, which isn't much, and I'm going to talk about edge retention, which I'm kind of infamous in the knife world for talking about edge retention, specifically dealing with Chris Reeve knives, and I have something positive to say for once, so maybe that will, a lot of people think I'm a troll, which the farthest from that you can be, I feel. Maybe some other people see it differently, but if I see an issue and I can replicate the issue and I can demonstrate it over and over again, I'm not going to have any qualms about telling people about it or voicing my opinion on the matter. So if that's being a troll, then so be it. I guess I don't care too much. But anyway, enough on that. You'll notice I have the S&G out here, and I'll get to that as well. But so the big difference in these two knives obviously is the shape. So the handle shape is different. You can see that. Let me zoom in on it a little bit. You can see that we have finger grooves now, so that's a little different. We have two different sizes of screws on the Sebenza now, so that's going to be a little bit different than the 21, where one screw or one tool could take the whole knife apart. That's not the case on the Sebenza 25, although it does now come with, it does come with all of the tools necessary to actually disassemble the knife. And I wanted to show, it comes with two of these nice tools to take the pivot apart, one for each side, and a nice little touch that I saw was that they are actually if I could get the camera to focus, they're actually Weha tools. So German made tools, they fit the pivot like perfectly. Sometimes you'll get tools that don't fit the screw they're made for all that well. This one fits perfectly with a very, very small amount of play. So that means the tolerances in the screw are great and the tolerances on this tool are great. So just kind of wanted to add that in there. But two different size screws. Handle shape is obviously different. Blade thickness is definitely different. Sebenza 25 has the same stock thickness as the Umnumzaan. So you have Umnumzaan thickness in a Sebenza body. And I have to say I much prefer this blade to the 21. Not only do I like the shape better, it's more of a drop point. This is kind of a clip point if you see it the way I do. It can be considered a drop point, could be considered a clip point. This is much more of a drop point, much more aesthetically pleasing in my opinion than the 21 blade. 21 seems much more aggressive and a little bit less utilitarian. This is a little bit more utilitarian and a little bit less aggressive. And also, if you notice there's no holes in the handle, it almost looks like a Laksa, Scott Cook Laksa, if I'm pronouncing that right. From a distance, you could almost think that's a Laksa, which is an amazing knife. Dual thumb studs come on it from the factory, so that's not an option anymore. Two thumb studs come on it. One big thing is the pivot bushing is no longer a part of the Sebenza. So 21 still has the pivot bushing, which you all know. If you're familiar with the 21, you can pretty much have zero resistance in the blade, yet zero blade play if it's dialed in correctly. Sebenza 25 has a pivot exactly like the Umnumzaan, and if you take the pressure off the lock face, it may swing freely a little bit, but not a whole lot. So definitely not as smooth as the 21. The 25 is not. Will that matter? It doesn't matter to me. I don't care so much that it's not incredibly smooth. It's really not a make or break thing for me. I actually wanted to say the refinements they've made to the 25 give it more balls, if you will. So the 21 is nice, it's elegant, it's classy, but it's just kind of boring. It's not really appealing in any real sense of the word, to me at least. Yeah, it's nice, it's sleek, it's smooth, but it just lacks soul to me. I don't know why. It just always has. So I've always struggled with a Sebenza and it lacking soul. The Sebenza 25 definitely has soul. It has a different walk and talk. It has a different vibe about it, and it's almost a lot like the SNG. So I know that's a little bit weird for me to say, but this isn't, SNG is a bad example since it's a hollow grind, but new flatter grind, so it's almost 100% flat. So this new grind on the blade, you can obviously tell this is a hollow grind. You can obviously tell just by the way the light reflects that this is almost 100% flat. So just kind of a comparison. You can see how the light dishes in the hollow grind, and you can see how it reflects off 100% of the bevel on the 25. So thicker blade, new flatter grind. It does not leave the edge thicker. It does not leave the stock thicker at the edge. It's almost exactly the same by my measurements. And this cuts better than the 21 in my opinion. Done a lot of cutting with this so far. It cuts better than the 21. I don't know if it's because the transition to the shoulder is not as abrupt. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know. I have a few ideas, but I'm not going to voice those ideas because I always catch shit for that. So this does cut better than this in my opinion. And I'll try to quantify that somehow. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'll try to and actually show you guys what I'm talking about. But so yeah, if I were to say that if I had to compare this to anything, it would be an SNG. So it's moving further away from what the 21 is and moving closer to an SNG. A little less refined, but a lot more ballsy. And I know that's purely subjective, but I've talked to a couple other people and they kind of feel the same way. It's just more ballsy. Thicker blade grind, much more aggressive jimping. Much more aggressive jimping. I'd like to show that actually. This jimping is incredible. Very useful. Almost too aggressive at some points when you're doing cutting, but I absolutely love it. It locks your thumb in. It is not going anywhere. Absolutely nowhere. It's absolutely great. Compare that to the almost non-functional jimping on the 21, which the 21 jimping, it was kind of a bag of tricks. You could get one that had good jimping like this one, kind of semi-functional, or you could get one that had jimping that absolutely sucked and it was non-functional in every sense of the word. One more change that I want to hit on is the ball pivot, ball lock interface. Didn't mean to say pivot. So if you're familiar with the Nums on, how it has a ceramic ball bearing that the blade hits when it becomes locked open, that's the same with a 25. So you have a ceramic ball bearing that is actually staked into the titanium lock bar here. Titanium never touches the blade. It's only the ceramic ball. So from the time that the blade comes off of the detent ball, which is also the ceramic ball, until it actually engages, it's all 100% on that ceramic ball. And maybe I have enough light here to show it. You can kind of see that ball in there. I'm going to do a macro video with a little bit of extra light and hopefully show what I'm trying to show here. But it's hard to see. So yeah, just overall a much more ballsy knife. Bigger stop pin, heat treated stop pin, which I'm sure the one on the 21 was as well. But here's a good close-up of the flat ground blade. They call it near flat, semi-flat, something like that. It's got a little bit of hollow to it, but not a whole lot. So just to show, if I could get it to focus. No holes in the blade or in the handle at all. A lot sleeker. A lot of people have complained about the pocket clip being in the finger groove here. It does not bother me at all. I actually don't feel it. I don't know if it's the way, well, it has to be the way I'm gripping the knife. When I'm gripping the knife, this falls right in that hole right there. So I do not feel it when I grip the knife at all. If I grip it and put my hand further up on the handle and then grip it, yeah, it pokes into my palm a little bit, but I never grip knives like that. It's solely finger grip. So you can actually see this lands right in between those two fingers when I'm gripping. Even when I'm up on the blade, even when I'm further back, it lands right inside of the void here. So if you have fat fingers or something, maybe an issue for you. I don't know. I would give it a try. But anyway, this is kind of an overview, first look. I didn't want to do a complete review of the knife, so I'm kind of not hitting on some things that I wanted to hit on. But yeah, it's more akin to the SNG. It has more soul. It has more balls to it. And I think I'm going to enjoy it much more than the 21. It's definitely a better complement to the SNG than the 21 was. If you notice something here, Z-Wear SNG. I'm excited to show some use on this. Z-Wear is supposed to be both tougher than 3V and have better edge retention. So I'm excited to use that SNG and see exactly what it's all about. But speaking of edge retention, one thing I wanted to say is so far in my cutting, and I've done a good bit for only having the knife a week, much more than I do on most knives in the same time period. This knife is holding an edge far greater, far better than the 21 did. Far better than any 21 I've ever owned did. And I've owned close to 20 of them now. So I don't own 20 of them now, of course, but I have passed through my hands. I probably only cut with 10 of those, but you get the point. The 25 is holding an edge much, much better than the 21. And I have a few ideas of why that is. I'm not going to say. I'll probably say in my review video. Well, whatever. I think that Chris Reeve, either the flat grind is holding an edge better. I don't know why that would be. I'm not super familiar with grinds, and I know I've completely missed the whole convex hollow crap that was floating around on YouTube for a while. Completely missed that. Caught the tail end of it and just didn't want to get into it. But I know the grind does have somewhat of an effect on edge retention. But if I had to guess, and I think I'm going to send this knife out to get tested, I think Chris Reeve may have bumped the hardness up a little bit. The birth card still says 58, 59. I truly think he might have bumped the hardness up a little bit. And I don't know, out of pride, maybe he doesn't want to claim that he did. But, and this is complete conjecture until I get it tested, which I'm going to. It's 100% conjecture. But just from cutting and seeing how the edge is not denting, it's not rolling, none of the warping that I saw on the 21, none of that's happening. None of the edge flattening. If I cut the same amount of stuff with this knife as I did with this, the edge would literally reflect light across the whole length of the edge. And it would be really dull by my standards. This is not dull at all. I wish I had a piece of paper handy and I would actually show you how well it still cuts. Let me... So keep in mind, this is after what most would consider a lot of cutting. So it's still, let me zoom out a little bit more. It's still more than able to pass through phone book paper, notebook paper, printer paper, all that. It's still more than capable. So that is a huge improvement on the 21 in my opinion. massive improvement. So anyway, don't want to make this too long. Should have some other videos following this one pretty soon. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.